Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is episode 94. We are reprogramming your subconscious mind. It is not as hard as you think it is. So, y'all know, or some of you know, that I just went to a conference with Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden. And Bruce Lipton talks a lot about the subconscious mind and the reprogramming of the subconscious mind. And I'm going to share some of his findings, and then I'm going to share some of my findings because I think I found something. I think I've really found something. So after processing like the things that he says, and I do this with everything, and I would encourage you to do this as well. When you read things and when you take in information, you have infinite intelligence and you have wisdom on your side. So take in the information and then process it through your own filter, process it through your own intelligence, process it through what makes sense for you. This is why, we can't, like, our beliefs are subject to everything that we decide about them. So if somebody says something and it doesn't resonate with us and it doesn't make sense to us, we don't have to believe it. We don't even have to retain it whatsoever. So this is where our inner guidance, same thing goes with me. If you hear something from me and it doesn't resonate for you and it doesn't connect for you, it's not for you. So just, leave it alone. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. But, this is all about planting seeds and coming to new awarenesses within ourselves, within our own inner guidance. And I'm going to help you to even connect further with your inner guidance and your heart. So this conversation is going to be about the subconscious mind, the heart, the magnetic fields. It's going to be epic. This is going to be an epic conversation and one that I have never had in this way before. So it's really awesome that you're here. Okay, so before the age of 7 years old, you are in a state of theta, okay, which is basically the same state that you're in when you meditate, right before you fall asleep, right before you wake up. And what was the other state? The theta state of connecting with hypnosis, like if you've ever been hypnotized. So I do this work actually with people, or I have in the past. I don't really have any one-on-one clients anymore, but this is what I used to do. I would get them in a meditative state, and then I would ask questions, and we would release the energies that were connected to those questions. So those questions are usually connected to core beliefs, right? So by the age of 7, because you're in this theta state, you're actually in the unconscious mind, and you are being programmed, just like a computer. You are being programmed, and that program is setting you up for life. It's basically setting you up for your identity for life. So through that, up until age 7, whatever was going on, whatever the people were saying, whatever the world was saying, whatever experiences were saying to you, you will take that, and that will become a core belief system in your identity. Now, I don't like the idea, and I've never liked the idea that it's hard to access our subconscious mind, or that there's, I do believe in blind spots. I've done a lot of energy work with people, and I've also done my own energy work with other energy people to uncover blind spots. I totally believe that we do have blind spots, and other people can give us perspective on those blind spots. Yes. But I do not like the idea that there's some programmings going on underneath that we don't have access to. I think it's bullshit. I really do. So, looking at this foundation for myself, I started thinking about it, and I was thinking, okay, so my first 7 years of life were pretty intense, right? And there was a lot of things going on, and a lot of stories, and a lot of identities that I took on that created a situation for me where I had low self-esteem, low self-confidence, didn't believe in myself. And, just it kind of worked against me for a while. And then what ended up happening is I met my husband. I met my husband when I was 14 years old. I'm actually getting ready to launch the story on this. I know I have books coming out like crazy. I'm done with this book of our life story. But I have to edit it. So that'll be a little while, but it's coming. So you better get the one that just came out. The one that just came out, I'm going to interrupt myself right now. The one that just came out is this one, and it totally has to do with our conversation today. So it's Mindful Manifestation Secrets Daily Guide and Journal. And the reason why it has to do with today is because what I've uncovered is this: asking the right questions to yourself and getting to know yourself and going into your heart, closing your eyes and fostering a relationship with yourself uncovers this stuff. It uncovers these low vibrational, limitational belief systems. And anytime we do work with a wound, which means we do work with a trigger, we ask the right questions, we journal it out, we get really clear about where these beliefs came from, we can disperse them. We can move away from them. We can let them go. They no longer need to be part of our identity. Now, one of the reasons I think that we've made this so hard and so, unaccessible in our life is because we walk around believing that there must be something wrong with us. I did this for a long time. A long time. I was doing spiritual work. I was buying programs. I was reading books. I was trying to get somewhere. I don't know where I was trying to get, to some airy fairy idea that I was going to reach perfection. There's my Virgo in me. Maybe that's you. Maybe you've bought every program. Maybe you continue to, they call it paralysis of analysis is what it's called actually, where those people that constantly go to school and they never actually do what their profession is because they're addicted to the learning process, and the fear of actually stepping into the profession is bigger. And so they end up not actually doing anything except going to school. So that happens in our spiritual lives. That happens in our personal development lives, where we tend to come from a wound. We tend to live from a wound that says there's something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. I don't feel good. My favorite one, not my favorite one, my least favorite one, I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety. All of these things put you in a very powerless position, and they set you up to tune you into frequencies where you're going to feel less than every time. So you have a negative thought, maybe you grab onto it, maybe you start getting low, you start going down that rabbit hole and you're like, holy crap, there's something wrong with me. I need to find someone to fix me. You do not need to be fixed. You are not broken. You are not broken. I'm telling you right here, no matter what has happened to you, I have been through some horrific shit in my life. I am not broken. I am completely whole. And the reason why is because I've done this work, because I've asked these questions. This book is full of it. It's full of not only is it 100 pages of content, but it is also a guide, a daily guide of steps you can do every day to get closer to this heart-centered living, where you can uncover these core beliefs and you can start setting intentions on your core beliefs. I have a deep, intense mind training coming up this week. I screwed up last week and said 2022. Hello, it's 2023. That's happening this Thursday, January, I don't even know the date, 26th, I think, 2023. That deep, intense mind training is going to give you the information. I'm not trying to fix you. I'm not trying to give you a magic pill. If I had one, I would, but I do. I have the information that could help you to start shifting this stuff. I've included a guided meditation, a writing prompt to get clearer, and I'm working on this whole idea of reprogramming your subconscious mind. Actually, it's going to be a recording on affirmations to start to change the story, right? So we've all got like these set points. We all have this core belief system, and we all have this, shitty committee, or just a story, right? It's just a story. It's a story that we say to ourselves. So let's say I actually I had a little text conversation with somebody this morning who was reading my book, and she said, this book has cracked me wide open. And she's like, I'm so hard on myself. And I said, well, whose voice is it? Whose voice is it that yells you when you drop the blueberries? And she was like, oh, it's my dad. And I was like, all right, so it's not true. So it's not you. So being hard on yourself is just something that you learned. It's an old belief system, and you can start being nicer to yourself, and you can start loving yourself. And I realized when I make mistakes, even big mistakes, I have tended to, I really am moving away from this, just have issues with details. Like I don't pay attention to the details. I need someone to manage my life. I'm actually really, really fortunate to have my husband in in my life, to have daughters in my life, people that are super organized around me that kind of help me keep things in check. Really, really lucky, but I still do have times when I make mistakes, and I tend to chuckle about myself lately. I tend to have a much more lighthearted, expression, where I just laugh. It's just funny. It's like, I'm done beating myself up, and you need to be done beating yourself up too, because it doesn't allow you to be the incredible master manifester that you are. It doesn't allow you to come in contact with that inner being, that heart that knows you are unconditional and pure love. So letting go of this idea of beating yourself up is a really good idea. And that has nothing really to do, I mean, it does have something to do with the subconscious mind, but the idea that there's a part of ourselves that we don't have access to, I'm chucking that one out the window today. We're throwing that one out the window because I haven't done a lot of reprogramming of my subconscious. What I've done is I've journaled, I've gotten real, I've connected with my feelings, I've connected with where those feelings came from and who gave me those beliefs. And because of that, it's like looking at it, because I've looked at it, it can no longer, these falsehoods, these false beliefs can no longer be part of my experience, because I've made a decision that they're not going to be anymore, that that's not who I am. Still working on the detail one, being the detail oriented person. Hey, we all have strengths, right? So I focus on my strengths, and that's what makes me feel good about myself. So it was a couple of months ago that I had done a journaling exercise, and I put it on Facebook, and it's actually it's in this book. I included it in this book because it was like a life altering situation for me. And I've shared on the podcast before about it, but the crux of it is that, I would have these doubts, and I would wake up and feel doubtful about myself and feel like, what am I doing and who am I? And, we all have these, right? Ever since that day, and ever since I journaled where that came from, it's gone. I don't have it anymore. And this was something that I grappled with on a weekly basis. And I just made a decision, and I think it comes on the heels of something that I've reprogrammed my subconscious mind about. And this is what I do. So before I go to sleep at night and when I wake up in the morning, I just make this statement: I am the I am. That's it. I am the I am. So I am is an incredibly powerful thing to say. And that's why you don't say I'm going to, or I hope to. You take the words I am because they make them present tense. And I have heard, the subconscious mind doesn't know present tense from past tense or future tense. So if you put it in the I am statement, you're saying it as if it's already happened, right? We're acting as if, we're putting statements in the as if it's already happened. And that is super powerful. So as you're falling asleep at night, in your meditation time, when you're waking up in the morning, those are all super powerful times to program your mind with what you want to believe. So you got to come up with some statements. I'm going to come up with a bunch myself, and those are going to be shared with the people who sign up for my Deep Intense Mind training. It's only $77. They're going to get it first. I don't know if I'm going to launch it out to the public just yet. But if you want to be a part of that class, there's still room. I can't believe there's still room. This class is going to take you to a whole new level in life, and it's going to empower you to create the core belief systems that you need to manifest anything, to manifest everything. Think about the words I am the I am. If I am all that I am, right? Which means I am an expression of God, I'm an expression of source, I'm an expression of the universe, then I am all powerful. And that may sound egotistical. I don't know what that sounds like to you, but the truth is we all need to grab onto our worthiness. We all need to grab onto our deservedness and stop holding ourselves apart from the truth of who we are, the wholeness of who we are, and letting this idea that we're broken, letting this idea that we're not good enough, letting this idea, these core belief systems that mostly were given to us by people who were misaligned themselves. And they were told, at least back, I'm 50. So back when I was growing up, the disciplinary way of parenting that, because I said so, because I said so parenting, that was, kids were, not allowed to have feelings. We got in trouble when we had feelings, right? We got sent to our rooms. So coming out of that and realizing that those core belief systems were based in a disciplinary environment where you were just meant to be a good girl or boy helps you to recognize that they are inept. They're inept from who you truly are and from what you actually came here to become. So they were important though, because we have to know these energies, these powerless energies, these unworthiness energies. We have to know those energies to rise above them, to step into something new. We have to know sometimes at a very intense level the powerlessness and the unworthiness and the low self-esteem. We have to know those things so that we can grow from them. That is the life force. That is the expression, and that is the whole point of all of it, is so that we can grow beyond it, and then we can share. We can share with others, what we've come through and what we've learned. And the process of our spiritual development really hinges on the challenges and the contrast that we've experienced before. And our faith is only strengthened when it's tested. Yeah, you don't have a real strong faith when it hasn't been tested. I've known so many people that have had lots and lots and lots of money, and they've had it their whole lives, and they're super duper afraid of losing it. And I'm just like, but she never lost it before. So why would that happen? Now, me, who has had many times of financial struggle and strife, I have tons of faith because I've lived through that. So that's what it does, is it strengthens your faith and allows you to be more. Not to say that you need to have financial struggle to be more, but it does lend to seeing miracles, to creating a stronger faith, and to knowing who you truly are when things are up against it and you show yourself and you see that universal support, you do become more. Okay. So, rearranging that identity and becoming who you truly want to be, you've got to decide. You have to decide this. That's why writing is the strongest form of focus, and it lends to clarity. So maybe you've never asked yourself these questions before, like, who am I and who do I want to be and how do I want to show up in this world? And what, most important question, what do I want the world to show me? Because you have to become that which you want to see. So that's the first step. What do I want to see in the world? What kind of world do I want to live in? Many of us have seen a world that we don't want to live in, like in the last couple of years. So we've had to make decisions to either get sucked into that narrative or to create a new narrative for ourselves, which I have literally done that day by day, moment by moment, just chosen to focus on those things that I want to expand. And you can do that as well. You can do that as soon as now. There's a lot of momentum, in your life. There's a lot of momentum maybe on those things that you haven't liked, that you've been paying way too much attention to, but that's okay, because now you know, and now you learn. And that's the beautiful thing of life, is now we know. And so often we beat ourselves up for times, or we beat people up for times that we did things when we didn't know better. So one of the greatest mantras that you can start to really take on throughout your day is, I'm doing my best. Do your best. Definitely do your best. But I've said this to my kids many times when they complain about mom. I'll just say, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best to wake up. I'm doing my best to stay awake. I'm doing my best to go deep. I'm doing my best to serve. If you're doing your best, and you say that, you hold to that mantra in your mind, and you shut down any bullshit that continues to rally, then you will step into a new frequency where you stop the tendency of beating yourself up. Super important, super important. I think I need to put that one in the title. All right. So we have limitations, right? We have limitations based on the core beliefs of the people that taught us up until we were 7 years old. What do we do about it? Well, you got to meditate. You got to journal. You got to pick up this book. It takes like 3 weeks to get it. So you want to you want to order it now. Mindful Manifestation Secrets Daily Guide and Journal. Do not buy this and not do the writing exercises, because it will be like at a quarter power. You got to read it. You got to go full out. Get a pen and write in it, and let it be that thing that connects you with your truth and your healing, and recognizing that you are not broken. Okay. So let's see. I think I already went through that. In order to move away from and heal these things, we've got to recognize that they're there. Remember, like setting that GPS. We have to know where we are in order to set our GPS for where we want to go. Meditation is definitely one of the greatest ways. M21 Revolution is on Facebook if you need help starting a meditation practice. We actually have a little challenge going on right now. It's like a self-guided challenge, and it's really cool. So ask to join M21 Revolution, and then you just search day 1, day 2, and you do that for 21 days, and you trust the posts and videos that come up. That's what I've been doing with another person, and it's super fun. And there's hundreds and hundreds of posts and videos in their year's worth for you to connect with, so you can start your meditation journey. Okay. So if you really want to take advantage and reprogram where you are right now, this is the best way. So we do meditation, we do journaling, we work from the wounds. So as the wounds show up, you'll know, because you get triggered. As you get triggered, you take the time to meditate on the trigger. You take the time to meditate on the emotions and ask yourself, like, where is this coming from? And then you start making decisions. Now, if you don't make a decision, you are going to be subject still to those wounds. You have to make a decision that is not who I am anymore. I just did this with a friend, and it was really cool. I'm not sure if I shared it on my last podcast. She was having some issues at work, and feeling left out, feeling, and she made a decision after talking. We made a decision that she wasn't going to feel that way anymore. And she was going to stop trying so hard, stop trying to get people to like her, stop trying to get people to talk to her. And she said the most amazing thing happened. People started coming to her, like just a few days, maybe a day, 2 days of this. People started coming to her, and she was really stressed about this. She let the stress go. She made a solid decision to no longer feel that way. And people started coming to her, and people wanted to talk to her, and people want to be friends with her. This stuff, and its millimeter freaking shifts, it so floors me because it works so well. But what you have to do is you've got to change your tendency to feel the way you feel when you have certain things happen, and when you have certain memories pop up. So let's say you had a childhood wound, and those childhood wounds maybe carried on into adulthood. And maybe those childhood wounds had to do with abandonment, feeling abandoned, feeling rejected. I could have those. I could definitely have those. Instead of thinking about that family, or thinking about your new friends and feeling that rejection and feeling that abandonment, you can make a decision to not feel that way, and to remind yourself that you are loved, that you are worthy, that you are wonderful, because you are. You absolutely are. So whatever that story is that's keeping you from manifesting wonderful relationships or manifesting love in your life, you can make the decision to no longer feel that way. But you got to do the journaling and working on the wound first in order to move into this more solid space where you're making real decisions based on your emotional intelligence. That's what it is. This is emotional intelligence. It's mind training, but it's also emotional intelligence. And it's recognizing, and this is a lot of what I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's recognizing that we do have addictions to our emotions, that there are chemicals and hormones that download, and that we no longer need them to create the life we want to live. We don't need to feel drama to feel worthy. We don't need to be dramatic to feel like we matter. We don't need to do that. Those are playground wounds. Those are baby wounds. Those are things that of a lower maturity. We are maturing out of that. I said to my husband recently, I said, I think I'm growing up. I think I'm growing up. And you are too. Absolutely. I don't think I shared this, but I realized, I think I shared it on the last podcast, but just recognizing like in every moment how you have a choice with your thoughts. So, being in a crowded room full of people and looking, and this could be a woman thing. I don't know. I wonder if men go through this, but looking at each woman and kind of scaling yourself to her, like, oh, she's dressed way cuter than me, or oh God, she's wearing Crocs. I'm sorry, I don't like Crocs. Sorry if you own Crocs, I just don't like them. My kids all have them. I just don't like them. I bought them for my grandbaby, but I just want. Okay, we'll get off the Croc conversation. But this is the thing: when we look at people and we judge people, how loving are we being to them, and how loving are we being to ourselves? So that was a realization I had recently, that I don't have to do that. I could look at a woman and see her beautiful outfit and I could say, wow, she looks amazing. And I could say, you make that outfit look beautiful, instead of taking that on and going, oh, that makes me feel less than. How often are you doing that? Holy shit, I didn't even know I was doing that until recently. I was like, I need to cut that shit out. Or holding myself higher than somebody else because I look cuter. Like, what? That is such an old program for me. Super judgmental upbringing, always having to look a certain way, all of those things. Look at that. Just look at that. Look at what the commentary is going on in your mind at all times, and start making decisions based on how you want to feel. That judgment stuff doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel good. And it just doesn't lend to the love and compassion in the world. It really sucks. So let's stop doing that. All right. So let's get into the mind and the heart. Ooh, oh my goodness, I forgot. I'm supposed to do shorter podcasts. All right, I'm going to keep this one short, I promise. Okay, so here we go. The logic. Okay, so every time the mind and the heart have different magnetic fields, right? So your mind is going to manifest differently than your heart is going to manifest. So your mind tends to be logical. It tends to give you reasons why you shouldn't do things. It's here to keep you safe. It's a good thing, right? It's here to tell you don't jump off the cliff, because that's not a good thing. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't factor in your intuition, or what you really want, what your heart really wants, because your mind's going to keep you in a box. It's full of limitation. So when we start getting more heart-centered about our lives and start making decisions from our heart, we actually tune up and turn up the volume of our intuition. And that's a really, really good thing, because when we live from our intuition, we live more fully. We live more miraculously. We live more in the magic. So getting in tune with your heart is as simple as closing your eyes. And I think I did a meditation on this in my last podcast, episode 93. I did a little exercise. All you have to do is close your eyes and feel into your heart. Put your hand on your heart and start asking your heart questions. My heart, what do I really want to do? My heart, what do I really want to create? My heart, how am I really feeling? When you ask the questions of the heart and you bypass the mind, you're going to bypass a lot of fear, and you're going to start living your life more fully and more connected to your truth, and less connected to those bullshit belief systems that were created before the age of 7. Pretty simple. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, I think the issue or the challenge is that we live in a fast-paced society. We live in front of people that want answers right away, and we feel pressured. We feel pressured. I feel like this when I do live videos. I just realized the other day I did a Facebook Live, and I realized like how pressured I feel to like say things and be smart and all of that stuff. And I was watching a girl do a live the other day, and she was so chill about it. And she was just like sitting here like this. You don't know what I'm doing unless you're on YouTube. Come on, subscribe to YouTube. You want to see what I'm doing right now? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. But she was like super chill, and her baby had come out and was like sitting on the table, and she was like telling the baby she couldn't do things. And no pressure. And that was a girl who was super relaxed in who she is, who's done lots of lives, right? Like practice is definitely the becoming really comfortable on camera is something that practice will definitely help you with. But I just thought, wow, that's a really good lesson in just not feeling so pressured to always speak, to always have the right thing to say. So when it comes to making decisions, if you can create some space between yourself and the person who wants that decision made, or yourself and the circumstance, if you've got the time, it only takes a couple of seconds. Seriously, it only takes like 3 minutes to connect. Like go to the bathroom. So be like, I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. Sit in the freaking stall and connect with your heart. You're going to be a lot less obligatory. You're going to be a lot less of a people pleaser, and you're going to make decisions based on that magnetic heart field that are right for you. You're going to have a lot less regrets. You're going to have a lot less resentments, and life is going to flow a lot more beautifully for you. It's going to flow from love. It's going to flow from what you love about your life, about what you've decided. And if you don't feel worthy of this, if you don't feel deserving of this, if you feel like you need to people please so that you can be more popular, you're always going to come up short. You're always going to come up short. So your best bet is to get back to the love of who you are, really connect with your truth, and start asking the questions to get to know who you are before you started people pleasing, before you started being programmed to be a different person, before these core beliefs started to be at your foundation. Because when you were born, you were pure unconditional love. You still are. You still are. But you knew it. You knew it. You cried when you were sad. You got mad when you were mad. People supported you and loved you and took care of you, hopefully. And because of that, you started to become programmed. You started to get away from that. So this is about getting back to the truth of who we all are, and knowing that this heart that we have inside of our body has its own magnetic field. I don't know why, but that makes me feel incredible, because I'm like, holy shit. And it's more powerful, by the way. Our heart's magnetic field is more powerful because it has feeling, because we have emotion, and our emotions are energy in motion. That's why you want to get your emotional intelligence in check. Take my deep mind training course. That will really help you to start connecting with the tools and techniques that I teach, so that you can start to become more emotionally and mindfully intelligent around what you're conducting, the energy that you're conducting in this life, and what is being reflected to you. If you're not paying attention, you could be creating a lot of chaos and a lot of cycles that are no longer necessary. Like, why would we want to create crappy cycles? Why would we want to continue to keep doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results? Like, that's the definition of insanity, people. We want to become more mindful. We want to become more aware. We want to become more connected. I shared on my TikTok today, I am doing dry January. So many of you know that I have this relationship with alcohol, and I've been very honest about where I am and what I'm doing with it. I joined an app called Sunnyside. It's actually a website, but they have an app now that is about mindful drinking. And giving up drinking never felt right to me. And I think one of the reasons, and it may eventually, but I think one of the reasons is kind of fun, and a lot of it, interestingly, I've done some study on this, and it's all about like set and scene. So it's like how you feel when you start drinking, and where it manifests is based on your vibrational output. It's your vibration, how you feel when you start drinking, the reasons you start drinking. So now that I do it super mindfully, and I've been away from it a couple of weeks, I do it differently. I'm very mindful about it. I really bask in it. I have a glass of water after. I'm not chugging. I ain't chugging. I'm not waking up hungover. It doesn't affect my sleep because I do it so minimally now, and I truly enjoy it. So there are ways to do that. If you don't drink, God bless you. If you can figure that out, figure it out, because it is freeing. Like, not to think about it, not to want it, not to care about it is very freeing. I totally agree with you. But for where I am in my path right now, mindful drinking has really connected with me. And I think I found a way to not allow alcohol to have power over me. But if you are doing dry January and you're ready to step back into February and you're like ready to hit it hard again, I would implore you to really look at your relationship with alcohol and really start asking some important questions, like, why do I drink? And why do I want to drink? And why do I overdrink? Getting in touch with these questions that really help you to reflect inside and connect with the things that you're doing that you no longer want to identify with. I never really wanted to identify with the drunk girl. I never liked being drunk, but I no longer wanted to identify with someone who didn't have a handle on this, who kept calling it a slippery slope, kept getting re-engaged with it and going, all right, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't make my body feel good. It doesn't make anything feel good. So gaining control over that is super important. Anything you have in your life that is holding you away from the identity of who you want to be has to go. It has to go in one way or another. Take a break for 30 days to really show yourself that you have power, because you do. I think one of the things that drives me the most crazy is when we label people. We label people as alcoholics or drug addicts, or, if we could instead like look at the substances and the addictive quality of the substances and stop making it a freaking persona, where people feel ashamed of themselves. I can't tell you how many people I've run into who have said, I'm an alcoholic. And I'm like, but you haven't drank in 35 years. Like, how is that possible? It seems crazy to me. So I don't love labels. I don't love any kind of label, because I think that it connects you with that identity. And if it's one that's disempowering and very limiting, you're screwing yourself. You're screwing yourself with that core belief and that core, that run on, that story that you keep saying, I'm not good enough. You got to change that. You got to change that inner story to really start creating the life that you want to live. And stop feeling like you're a screw up. You're not a screw up. You are literally navigating a life where there was no manual, right? Every day we are approaching things that we were never equipped for through our knowledge and intelligence. So we're figuring these things out. And as we figure them out, we become more knowledgeable, we become more intelligent, but we have to stop beating ourselves up for not knowing better. That's bullshit. Don't tell yourself that. That's a terrible story. The fact of the matter is, you're processing, you're growing, you're expanding, you're becoming more, and you are absolutely fantastic. And that's the story I want you to tell yourself. I am fantastic. You ask people how they are and they're like, oh, I'm okay. It's like, be fantastic. You got a choice here. Why don't we just be fantastic? A lady this morning, I was in the locker room. I just love this woman. I totally love her, and she loves me, and we just have a thing going. And I was getting in the shower, and she said to me, she goes, I was going to text you today. Yeah, we text. She goes, I was going to text you today because I haven't seen you. I've been out of the gym for like a week, and she goes, I really need your energy. And I said, we need each other. Like, we need to spread this shit around. Like, we need to spread the love around. We need to spread the high vibes around. That's what's going to create a better world, is when we can be in a higher vibrational energy and we don't let the shit pull us down, and we don't let the old stories and the old beliefs and the old bullshit tell us that we're less than. And we start deciding that we're better than that we're more than that we have the opportunity to become whole once again, because we were never broken. Yeah, shit happened and we got wounded. And guess what? We have the ability to heal, and we have the ability to heal based on what we believe. So let's change those freaking belief systems. All right. So my mind training class is coming up on Thursday. It's not too late to sign up. I'll put the sign up in the show notes. This baby is available on Amazon. Don't know why, but it's taken 3 weeks to get. You want to get your hands on this. I'm telling you. I started reading it the other night. I'm going to do the exercises too, because I got to walk my walk and talk my talk. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. So join me on my next deep, intense mind training. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do these courses. I'm actually working right now on manifesting a place. If you're in Orange County and you have a place for me, let me know. But I'm going to start doing live events again because I feel very strongly called to get out in people's energy fields and to do this. I'm also looking for someone, if you know anyone, who could help me put together a speaker's reel, because things are getting real. And I need to get a little thing together to share what I do and be able to go out onto the live stages of the world. I really want to travel. I would love to come to your area and do a live event. If you want to get people together, that gets me super excited. All right. I love you all. Peace, baby.